From the Carthage Nazarene studio, this is CNaz Kids News with your host, Pastor K.
Welcome everybody to the CNaz Kids News. We are so excited that you guys decided to join us this Sunday morning. Guys, we are at the tail end of this thing and we are hoping that we can all get together soon and that we can just continue to fellowship with one another. But until then, we're still going to be bringing you the CNaz Kids News. We just want to let you guys know that we still love you. We are praying for each and every one of you, and we are encouraged by the stories that we keep hearing about you guys reaching out into the community and making an impact in people's lives. And we are just so excited to be able to bring you this news. Terrin is out on location to interview our next hero of the Bible. We're really excited to see what he's going to bring for us, but we are going to go ahead and get started with the news. So without further ado, here we go. Caitlin Sanders, her mother and her grandmother, went caroling for our senior adult members of our church last week, and they made a pretty significant impact. The reason being is that they wanted to encourage and continue to show their love and appreciation for our senior adults, and man, they did an amazing job. Our video shows that they just really enjoyed bringing this worship time to these people and really showing them that, you know, Jesus is continuing to move within our church and that they just wanted to show love in a Jesus kind of way. So Caitlin, thank you so much for your contribution and your impact with our senior adults. We love you and we are very, very proud of you. Isaac Langford ran a race for Fostering Hope in which those who made donations for each lap that he completed. He completed 17 laps and raised almost $1,000 for Fostering Hope. Man, we are very encouraged by his determination and his willingness to be faithful to this cause, and we are just so proud that he did this great of a job. He exceeded the amount that he had originally intended to make. So Isaac, we are so proud of you. Thank you so much for your impact in our community and in the people that the lives that you are affecting. Thank you so much for being willing to follow the Lord's lead on your heart. If you guys know any news or anything that's going on in our community, please send us videos, photos, just information, whatever you need to do. We want to continue to bring a positive outlook into our community and within our church members, and really show how we are reaching out into the people of the world and being a light during this time. So if you guys have any news, videos, photos, whatever, please send them to us and we could feature them on our next CNaz Kids News. Terrin is out on location and I'm almost kind of worried about what he's doing next. After last week, I really don't know how he is still sane, but we're going to give him another go around and see what he comes up with this week. Terrin is on location. He said he's talking to Joseph about how God was continuing to be with him. So Terrin, go ahead, take it away. How is everything going there?
Hey kids, hey Pastor K, it's good to see you, man. I just wanted you to know that I was made for this, you know what I'm saying? And so I got another interview for us. Last week was super cool, talking to the animals. I can whisper to them, they speak, and you heard them too, it was awesome. But this time, I made a new friend. His name is Joseph. Joseph, say hi.
What's up?
He's pretty cool cat. Just got back from Hawaii. You know, usually he rolls with that multicolored jacket, but since you just got back from vacation, he was on a cruise and the coronavirus, it was weird, but he's here now. 6 feet right here. We're all good. And I just tried to ask Joseph a couple questions. And you guys know who Joseph is, right? You know who he is. Genesis, he got sold into slavery. And so I just want to, his brothers were not cool about the jacket thing. What was that like, man?
it really sucked whenever they sold me off to slavery. I just thought I was one of the bros, and I guess they didn't feel the same about it. It's like the worst feeling ever.
Like your own brother sold you out.
I know, I couldn't believe it.
That's just tough. Like, my brother would never do that to me. I know, for sure. He wouldn't even trade me for a motorcycle, homie. My brother is ride or die. Your brothers were fake. Anyways, you get sold into slavery, man. That's tough. And, like, at any point, did you feel like God was very far from you? Like, you ended up going to jail?
Yeah, that one time I went to jail, I just thought he forgot about me.
I mean, that's tough. It really wasn't even your fault. You did everything right. Tough to talk about.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I don't even want to bring up Potiphar's wife and, oh, hey, don't kick rock. Hey, it's all right, brother. It's going to be okay. But it was tough, huh?
Yeah.
But, you know, God, though, proved to be faithful to you. Like, well, talk to me about, like, how God was faithful even though it felt like he was so far away. What happened, man? What happened?
Well, I could, like, help people figure out what their dreams were about, you know?
In jail.
Yeah, in jail.
Like, you were able to interpret their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and did that lift your spirit a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Jail really changes a man.
It made you think about how God was close to you and was faithful to you, and if you just put your trust in him, right?
Right.
So you started, you continued to trust God, and then what happened?
Then,
He kept promoting you.
yeah, that's right.
Like a lot.
A lot.
Like, you became like number 2.
Yeah, I should
Should have been number 1.
have been.
But,
You know,
Pharaoh,
two's all right.
2's cool. God really did a work in you, man. And he, like, made it work, huh?
That's right.
So, anything you want to say to the kids about believing and trusting in God?
He's always going to be there for you, no matter what you're going through. And he's always going to forgive you. And
He's always going to be faithful.
that's right.
Well, Joseph, you probably got some things to do since you're a big wig of Egypt.
I'm
I'm
just
just
find my jacket.
got to go find your jacket.
Might be back in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Actually. I don't know.
Well, it's good to see you, man. Glad that we got to connect. I'm not worthy of your presence. I'm like your brothers. Kids, thanks for joining me. I got a lot cooler on this trip, hanging out with the number 2 man in Egypt.
That's right.
Back to Caleb's Corner. Love you.
Hey friends, welcome back. Thank you, Terrin, so much for that amazing interview with Joseph. Man, Joseph has had a rough life. And you know, that kind of got me thinking of the rough situation that we're in right now. You see, a lot of the times in our lives, whenever we feel like there's darkness or just bad stuff going on, it's easy to think, God, why have you left us? In Joseph's situation, going back to the very beginning where his father just gave him a lot of favor over his other brothers, and then his dreams where he told his brothers that their crops would bow down to his, and that the stars and the moon and the sun bowed down to him. This made his brothers very angry, and so they decided to just take him and throw him into a pit, and then they sold him into slavery, and they took his coat of many colors and they tore it up, and when they gave it back to their father, they said that Joseph had died and that he had been eaten by a wild animal. Could you imagine dealing with that your father thinks that you're dead and your brothers sold you into slavery? Well, that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part is that Joseph ended up in Egypt, where he became a slave to a man named Potiphar. Now, Potiphar noticed that there was something different about Joseph, and he continued to promote him and promote him and promote him to high rankings. He ended up being second in command with Potiphar's estate and everything that he was in control of. But then came Potiphar's wife, who wrongly accused Joseph of doing something that he didn't do, and he was thrown into prison. But in that situation, God gave him the ability to interpret dreams, which is what he did. He interpreted dreams of the prisoners, and whenever the prisoners got out, he told them to tell Pharaoh about him, to remember him whenever a situation came up, and to let them know that he needed out. Well, some time passed, and Joseph spent 2 years in jail. Could you imagine spending 2 years in jail? I'm sure there was a lot of, God, where are you? And so as we continue to look at this story, man, Joseph went through a lot of hard times. And, that kind of goes along with our main point. When we're going through darkness, we just have to remember that God is always with us. And God is always for us. You see, it says in Psalms 23 that though we are walking through the valley of the shadow of death, we will fear no evil, for God is with us. Isn't that comforting to know that God is with us in the middle of everything, in the middle of all of our dark situations, everything that we're going through? God is with us every single step of the way. And God was with Joseph too. Joseph eventually got released from prison and became second in command over all of Egypt, second only to Pharaoh. Now, this should be really encouraging to you guys and allow you to understand that God is with us in each and every step of the way. He protects us. He guides our tomorrows. He is in every situation. So even though we're going through a really dark time right now and there's a lot of confusion and we don't know what's happening, God is always with us each and every step, and He will continue to show us the direction and His provisions in everything that we do. We just have to continue to trust in His will and know that the plans that He has for us are great. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for the CNaz Kids News. We love you guys. We hope you have a great day. We can't wait to be together with you. But until then, we will see you right back here next Sunday in the CNaz Kids News. I'm signing off. This is Pastor K saying, see you later. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.